City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 321 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. We're going to call this one Coup du Chapeau. I know. We'll do the French right, but not the English, which means hat trick in French. We just had to have fun with that, with Denny doing what Denny did, because we did a Denny episode before, so we got to have fun with that. Of course, to celebrate with us as we're running on fumes after an amazing game last night, we've got Tony and we've got Araceli. Beyond that, we're also going to cover pretty much everything, get you ready for the last two games, playoffs, you name it. We're going for it. Araceli, coming in late. How are you doing tonight?
I'm actually doing fairly well. I've been doing my best to get as much rest for this week as I possibly can. If you've been following MLS Next Pro, you know that this weekend is our semifinals. Next weekend is conference finals. And then weekend after that is a big championship game. So we have just been running around the clock and oh my God, I just can't wait to sleep again.
We're enjoying watching how busy you are, how you're covering it, and enjoy that for sure. It's been a lot of work for a long time here, and the season, of course, seems like it's short, but it's really not. And Araceli can attest to this. She's put in a lot of work this summer, no doubt about it. So, Araceli, thank you, and thank you for coming to us right before this madness kicks off. Of course, Tony's here too. Tony, how are you doing over there?
Tired as hell. Like, as much as it was a great match to watch, it's coming down to the wire, and I'm just tired from last night. Excited for the playoff implications and playoff race, but at least we're in the dance now. But let's see how high we can be, which is, I believe, second. But overall, ready to go over this game and preview the next one.
And of course, talk to you guys as well. And you guys throw in your 2 cents as much as possible. We love hearing from everybody. Yeah, I mean, you could see Tony and I are kind of dragging because a 5-1 game, all the beer showers, all the singing. My voice is gone. I was not feeling well going into this thing, and it just kind of whatevs, work it through. And Tony's sitting there fighting something off at the same time, up on stage, man, doing his thing, and making it happen. And he's laughing because I said stage. I know, Capo stand. I'll be nice. Performing our best so the guys could perform their best, which Denny certainly did. It's not like they didn't scare us, though, in the process. And let's just jump right into this thing. Let's go. Let's recap this, Tony. Starting lineups for this were a little bit interesting. We talked about rotation possibilities, and they actually followed through with those rotation possibilities. So we kind of got lucky on that one. Max was in goal. Chiellini and Murillo were the back line this time. So it's Chiellini came back in. Palencia did replace Hollingshead, and Palacio stayed in his position. Sanchez, Tillman, and Bogus got the play. We knew something might have been wrong with Acosta. He didn't even dress for this match, but he was down and by the sidelines. He was still visible for all of us. So clearly, keeping him safe is what they were doing and letting him rest as needed. And if he's got a knock, we won't know it for very long. He'll be back into the mix. Up top was Vela, Olvera, and Buanga. The one that we all wanted came out. And of course, we went for this thing. Now, looking at Minnesota, they had Sinclair in goal, as they always do. Tapias and Boxall, their center backs. Taylor and Brislow, their outside backs. They had Arriaga and Trapp as their defensive midfielders. Reynoso is the number 10. Wangwane as your outside mid with Dotson. And of course, target man was Pukki, which we knew was going to be Pukki. He's their big signing. Now, did we touch the ball well early? Did we work hard? Yeah, but it all kind of went funky quick. Go for it, Tony. Give us the highlights and the lowlights of the first half.
Starts off with, oh, crap. In the 4th minute, goal by Dotson with a header. Like, it's one of those floater headers that you hate as a keeper where you can't really react to it, but you watch it and you just see Dotson just head it in. And watching that goal could have been avoided, could have not have been avoided, but unfortunately it wasn't able, and we were down 1-0 in the beginning 4 minutes, and I on the Cabo San just kind of looked at it more of like, yo, I don't give an F what everyone else is feeling right now and how it is and how we've been doing this season. Let's just go harder and louder. And I think it paid off because in not even 2 minutes later, Wonga left-footed shot from the center of the box to the right corner and assisted by Bogus and put his back to 1-1. And it just kept continuing because 36th minute, another goal by who else? Bouanga. Left-footed shot. Like he always does, center of the box, the bottom right corner. Palacios with the assist on that one. Reynoso did get a yellow card in the 39th minute, and then in the 45th or 46th minute, 45th plus 1 in extra time, that man, Mr. Right-footed shot from literally almost parallel to the sideline to the end line shoots it with to the bottom right corner and scores.
And zipped it past the keeper, right?
Exactly.
No screwing around. Yeah.
And he has a hat trick before the first half ends.
A natural hat trick, 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Listed 3 across the board. Denny doing Denny things. Could have had even more in that first half. He just was on a mission. What's funny is in warm-ups, he was livid because he's one of these guys who always wants to take the last shot on goal, and he doesn't want to come off until he puts one away. And we're talking top of the box from distance. And he struggled to do it at the end. And so he kind of walked off angry, like, man, that's not a good vibe, right? And he took off. And so he came out with an edge, you could say, and did what he did. Credit to the boys in the first half for not putting their heads down after that first goal. It was cheap. Proper counterattack, but the goal itself, Max, he struggled a bit and he kind of scooped it under himself and it found its way to the back. Little off on the play, that's for sure. Of course, close range, anything goes. You shouldn't even have a shot right there, but it happened. And again, under the circumstances with the drought that we were in, it would be really easy for a team to put their heads down in that moment, right? Turn on each other in this case. And instead, you saw anger like, oh, no, we're not. That's not the game plan. That's not what we're here to do. That's not the purpose. And they just went to it, did their thing, which I really, really hope that is the mindset going forward is just, slough it off, move on, and which they did. They responded quickly, sent a message to us, sent a message to the whole side, sent a message to Minnesota. We weren't messing around and treating this like a playoff game, and we did. Minnesota, on the other hand, were very disappointing. Knowing what's on the line, to see them fall apart the way they did. There were moments where they had the possession for times, but there was nothing done with it, only to get countered to death by what we do. Really brutal for them. Couldn't be any worse, let's be honest, as they're trying to stay alive. Second half, again, we don't hold back. We just keep going, doing our thing. Tony, let it rip, man.
So 46 in the 46 minutes, we finally get the quick goal counter. Own goal by Tapias. Kind of own goal. It was a weird, kind of transition to that goal and everything because it was Palacios with a deflection to Oliveira with another deflection into the back of the goal. So they're celebrating like Oliveira scored the goal. Again, he had many chances, and of course,
he did.
He had so many chances in the first half. So to have this goal kind of ripped away from him, we all knew it was his goal, but unfortunately, they counted as an own goal. But once this kid is locked in, I have high hopes. I know people are not the best with him, but there's a reason why he starts. There's a reason why he performs the way he does, and he does give a lot on the presence. And I say that in the best way because some people have been comparing him to B-Rod, but he doesn't play like B-Rod. There's some flair and some almost finishing that he has that B-Rod could never even kind of touched. But moving forward in the 63rd minute, we pretty much have a full swap of almost three players. Palacios comes out, Hollington comes in, Chiellini for Long, and Tillman for Krastov. And not even 4 minutes in,
Yeah,
the fifth and final goal, Krastov, right-footed shot from the center of the box, and it hits the left corner. He could have given it up to Bouanga to give him this fourth goal, but he decided to take it in, and I do like that. I understand people want Bouanga to kind of have the ball since he was wide open on the right side, but at the end of the day, if you have the shot and you feel comfortable for this is what I want from our team. You know what I mean? It's like no hesitation, no, I can't do this by myself. All right, we're just gonna put this with Bouanga. We need this. So, and with that, it kind of ended. It's like they're saying because we were just like the best way to say there is like an bicycle kick attempt by Vela, which he laughed so hard, and you could tell the boys were having fun at that point because like, you could tell even Boanga was laughing at him, going like, "What the hell? You almost had that," and stuff like that. But after that, game was kind of over and a celebration, and of course, we had to say goodbye to the final home game at BMO for the season. Playoffs is a different story, but for the season, it's the final home game, and also couple final home games for the Falconer.
Yeah. So our beloved Ken, our energy, and many times when things aren't looking the greatest, the guy that keeps it going. If you've ever talked to him, he'll light me up every time at every event. I mean, pure class all the way. One of the kindest people you will ever meet. Been there from day one, from day zero. I remember meeting him at the Experience Center and getting introduced 3252 to him and his family. And pretty much, getting sold on the idea of having a Falcon and Falconer from a group that was very anti-mascot at the time. And it's very obvious that this was not a mascot. And to think of Ollie as a mascot, even though there's this tradition in what she does, it's a different experience. Might be your better option. Can you guys hear me still? I think I have a
Yes.
little moment there.
Yeah.
Ambassador would be the better option with it, and of course, entertaining ambassador at that, really embodying what we do and how we approach the game, is what Ken gave to us when he brought us Ollie and the rest of the crew, because there were more than just Ollie there. Yes, he has decided to hang it up. For a lot of us, this isn't new. He's been very open about this conversation. This isn't something that the club did or anybody else did. This was Ken's choice from the beginning of this season. He's been looking for this, and there's some things that he needs to take care of health wise, and okay things like things that are natural, right? And so he needs to take care of himself, and not always be on the move all the time. And so he's gonna pass this on to his son. Again, Ken's still gonna be around, guys. He's still gonna do his thing. He's not gonna be on the field as the performer, but Ken, he's not gonna stay away. We know how Ken is. And so he's gonna do his thing, walk off on his terms, which is the best possible way to do things, and pass it off to his son in the best way possible. Now, if we go deep in the playoffs and the conditions are safe, let me say that again, the conditions are safe at these games, then we'll see Ollie in the air. But if it's a game where we've got a flying camera going through the air, that's an absolute risk to our ambassador in the sky. She's not going to fly. We're not going to risk her. If there's something that Apple's doing, some promo wise, where it's really going to interfere and be a risk, the last thing we want to do is put Ollie under that kind of risk, and there's no way Ken would do that. Now, if we get an opening, and again, there's a lot of playoff games, guys. Remember, 3-game series. It's the second season here. If I put my money down, I'd say the money's on a chance to see Ollie again. That it's not over. It's just in the air a little bit, but yes, Ollie's not done. That's not what's happening here. It's Ken needing to take care of Ken and do what's best for him and his family, and we fully support him in doing so. And honestly, we're excited to see what the next chapter will be. So all love to you, Ken, man. I know he was one of our guest hosts. I'm sure he'll be on again. We can't wait to have him back on. That's for sure. And have some cool memories to talk about because he's got some stories, guys. But hats off to you, Ken. Thank you, man, for all that you've done and all that you continue to do, sir. Araceli, Tony, do you want to add anything in before we move forward?
Just pretty much thank you, Ken, for everything you've done since day zero, -0, maybe -1, sorry, or anything. Like I said, we've known about this for a while. I remember having a conversation with him about 2 months ago about this, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm hanging it up at the end of the season." I was like, "What?" And it was just like caught me on guard. But unfortunately, he can't do it forever. You know, I wish sometimes certain people can do things forever, but these are one of these situations that I wish him the best of luck. He's going out on his own terms, and that's always the best way to do it because you don't want to go out on a bad note, and he went out on the greatest note as well. He did take a wrestling move of leaving the boots on the field, but came no shock to me when I saw him like hang five in. It was kind of a sad moment because it's just like we're just so used to him. So again, thank you again for everything you've done, and I know your son will take it with stride and continue your legacy.
It was really cool of Ken to come over to the north end. Like he beelined it to the north end when he walked off, and was able to give a few of us hugs on the way, many of us hugs on the way out, and talk it through with everybody, so they kind of understood. And so, thank you, sir. Araceli, anything you want to add in there?
I mean, with Ken, I definitely do wish him the best in his future endeavors. And as you both mentioned, to see him kind of go out on his own accord is always the best way, in my opinion. Over the years, I've had a chance to meet him a couple of times at the tailgate, and all of which has been positive interactions. And again, I truly wish him the best. I know earlier this season we had him on the show, so to be able to even get to speak with him again, it's always great. And hopefully we do get that another chance at that somewhere down the road. As for Ollie, I mean, you said it best. It's not the end. She will be back. We'll see her again, whether if it's later in the playoffs or next season. So I'm definitely excited to see his son take over.
If you can hear me here, we'll double down on that. Ollie's not going away, guys. Ollie's not going away. Okay.
She's got to sell those stuffed animals somehow.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't sell those. The club does.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Yeah.
Ollie needs to sell her plushies.
Dude, I couldn't. Okay, it was hard enough when Latif left with the kids.
hmm
I don't want to deal with Ollie. Like, no, that's unacceptable. We can't do that. I'll tell you that. Like, there was Latif, and then there's Ollie, man. So you don't mess with Ollie. We don't mess with Ollie. That's for sure. So, yes, we hope to see her fly again. That's for sure. All right, on to the game itself. Araceli, you saw the goals, you saw the madness, you saw the fun the guys were finally had. I mean, we haven't seen them actually have fun on the field in a long time. I know we beat the Galaxy, but it wasn't fun. This one came off like the guys were smiling, like they were cutting up playing the game. The joy that you play in this game. You saw a look at that. So your thoughts on this match?
I mean, the match overall was just a great watch, not only for the fans, but for the players themselves. Because looking at the last couple of matches, about the last 6 or 7 or so, they haven't been doing well. So to watch them get that big win was not only the best way that they could, quote unquote, end the final season or the last game of the season for BMO, at least for the regular season, I should clarify. But just generally speaking, it was definitely one of those matches that you won't forget for a while, especially with Bowanga's first half hat trick. I believe it was in the 35th, 36th minute where Bowanga did kind of get that knock, and you watched him limp for a while on the field.
Yeah.
So there was that moment of panic of, oh no, he might be subbed out, he may not, but just to kind of watch him casually limp up to the goal and then send home the second of his hat trick was like, he's truly made out of steel. Like, I don't know if we're ever gonna find another player like this. But just for me personally speaking here, the match itself, it was nationally televised. It was on FS1 last night. So my entire family got to watch it. And even my parents, yes, I will out them on this. They joined in with the 32-52 and the chants. It was just an overall fun atmosphere. Um, so it's just crazy to think that I I did not go to a game this entire season.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that this morning, like, how? But, I mean, we all kinda know the reason why, so hopefully LAFC can make a deep run in the playoffs. Not only can I come back, but you just wanna continue watching them do well.
And that's the key. The other cool thing, Golden Boot race completely just got turned over. Um, Made a big old mess of it because guess what? We could have another Golden Boot winner from LAFC. What? Yeah, that could happen with the hat trick. Bongo's now in the lead. He's got what, 14 goals, and many to go. Two games to go. It's still tight. It could be anybody's here. He hasn't pulled away. Got the lead, but not pulled away. So, yeah, who's it gonna be? We will find out over the next two matches. But yeah, I don't mind that, right, Tony? You don't mind having another Golden Boot winner.
No, it kind of sets a precedent for any forwards moving forward. Like what first Vela, then the next year's
Rossi.
Rossi,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it could be Boanga the rate he's going 2 more matches.
Well,
But we'll
look at it
see
this way.
because we'll see. That's all I gotta say because there's still questionable
In
games coming up.
in 2020, Rossi won the scoring title with 14 goals.
Hmm.
What does Bonga have now? I know different games played, but
Yeah.
still, he's got 14. The last two to win, one had what? Castellanos had 19 and Mukhtar had 23. 23
Mhm.
seems like a big chase, but 19 is definitely doable over the next two games. So,
Yeah.
not like it's a low scoring season. It's legit, guys. And he could get this thing. So let's hope we're playing the right teams. I mean, Austin coming up is desperate, but they've been leaking goals and Vancouver, well, you never know up there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, when we get a win, I know we're not used to doing this. There's always 3 stars to the match. So let's go there. Who's our 3 stars, Tony? I'm going to give it to you first. 3
Well,
stars.
it's obvious that for the first 3 stars is Boanga, of course, with the hat trick and putting out the magic. The other one I would probably give it to is Kostov for the goal, and then what he's been putting on as a super sub. And I know it's going to be a hot take, but Oliveira, I know he missed a lot of opportunities, a lot of sitters, everything, but he is that high energy that gives Buanga and Vela the space to be open, because without that, most people are locking down Buanga and Vela hard. And with Oliveira just kind of skating around defenses and everything like that, it helps them to bring another defender on them, opening one of those two open to a score or have the opportunity to open up another pass lane to score well.
There we go. I like it. Cool. Araceli.
3 stars to Bawanga because, of course, the hat trick. 2 stars to Christoph for the game winner. 1 star. I have to agree with Tony on this one. Alvera, he really did kind of set the precedence, especially up front, and gave Vela and Bawanga that much needed energy. And of course, we have to do honorary mention to Vela for the attempted bicycle kick. That's just one of those moments. You kind of have to.
Old dog, old trick, doing what he does best. I like it. I like it. For me, I'm going a little bit different. Of course, Bouanga is top star. You get a hat trick, you better be the top in the league. No question. You got a hat trick. Second star, though. I'm not gonna go with a goal store. I'm gonna go with Mateus Bogus. Why? He owned his area. the entire game. He was always creative, always pushing, always pressuring, being a part of every cycle. He was everywhere. And I don't think we have the chances we have in this game without his work rate and his passing in this game. To me, he really did stand out. My third star, it's tough. I got to say, Krastev got the goal, but again, the other guy to look at would be Palacios. What did Palacios do in this game, right? He torched them on his side of the field. So I'm going to go Krastev because Krastev never gets enough votes anyway, and being opportune and simply taking it gets it to you. But honorable mention to Palacios as well, just putting good work on the night. So there's our 3 stars, guys. Bam, we'll get you on the return leg for this thing next week with our total count, because guess what? There will only be one game left, which means the Heart of LAFC award needs to be tallied up. Yes, this is real. This is happening like it happened last year. Chicho won it last year. We don't know who's going to win it this year. I think Boanga's kind of pushing away there, but it's still closer than you think. So keep your votes going. Every time Bam throws it up there, let's do this. You're the guys that choose it. At the end of the day, we don't weight our votes. It's your votes though on this thing. So vote away when you see it pop up on X. I guess we're calling it X now. Yeah. Do it. Make it happen. So there you go. All right. So we got our 3 stars. We got all that covered. You know what we don't have? Reactions from you guys. So let's get it there. Where are you guys at? And I see about 15 comments popped up. Mark Lopez first in the mix. There's so many highlights last night, but my favorite was Vela laughing himself for the Chilena and Boanga laughing along with him. I've been worried about the locker room, and that interaction was reassuring. That's dude, you're spot on, man. Just seeing them have fun in the moment instead of always the serious or nervous vibe that we've been seeing lately. It was nice for them to cut up and get a game like this. Illo Trash Can Man in the mix. My peeps, you got it, man. Burke putting in the work for me and everybody else in the North End. Says last night was fun. I know Minnesota isn't a great team, but it was a step in the right direction for us. That's the thing, though. They're still in the race, man. So, yes, Tony, he's going to have fun with this.
Bert got lucky. We scored when he was up away from the north end, and we almost send him back because you know the rule. If they score when you're not there, you kind of can't go back to your seat. Luckily, they scored again while he was still there.
Dang, saved by the efficiency, which, by the way, guys, we had 14 shots on goal out of 29 attempts. I think it's better than we've done before. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting that 14 got through. Wow, right? All right, Jeremy Gomez. He says, good game last night. Appreciate you guys putting in overtime. Player spotlight, finally getting to see Fufu. Yeah, right. Gets minutes and performs well. Low lights, Kike, too many missed and easy chances, missed key passes. My counter to that would be him being in position to try those key passes and those chances where others would just never be there. Do you think Mario would run that one out? Would he be the guy? Do you think Brian would be the guy to make those moves? I don't. I think Kike is a young dude. He needs to properly find himself in the finishing angle, but the runs are right. The runs are right. The thoughts are right. The physicality is right. There's one tool left. So I get the frustration, but I also get the development of the player, and I think it's there. Tony, you think it's there too, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's there. He's like I said, he's right now at the super stub. Maybe he could be a starter moving forward when he gets a full season under him and a good like preseason. But I do like the role that he's playing and everything he's doing for us.
Yeah, no, it's a good developmental player, and I think he's working at a level that I don't even think our squad thought he was going to be at this point. I think others were thought of like Buke. That was supposed to be his role, and Olvera's kind of taking it, for his work rate. So yeah, we'll see him get better as it goes. It's gonna be tough in the playoffs for the young guys, that's for sure. Ox, there he is. He's heading to bed because dude's in the same time zone as Araceli. Hey, Araceli's on here. What's wrong with you, Ox? Just gonna say that right there. Love you, man. Soccer USA, since that pigeon still could do. Whoever had that pigeon costume, you guys are awesome. That was funny and always welcomed. We love the pigeon. Pigeon is good vibes once again. Bam. There it is, man. He says, thank you for everything, Ken. You're welcome on the show whenever you want. Forever and ever and ever. You are a part of the Heart of LAFC family. Let's be honest, you're part of the Zacher family. Tony's going to say the same. We know who Ken is. He's one of us. Forever and ever and ever. Mendo says, also met Ken at tailgate, gave me a compliment as he passed by with Ollie. He was very, very welcoming. There you go. Soccer USA says, watch some Mohamed Traore highlights with the Phoenix Rising, and they've been utilizing him as a left back recently. Plays like a blend of Mamadou Fall, Tristan Blackman, possible Palacios replacement. It could be. I mean, Palacios probably was going to be gone last winter, and things just didn't play. And he's such a gamer that he didn't let it get in his head like some other players have done. He just minds it through. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that at the end of the season, if he doesn't move, there's something wrong. I can't see any other way. You don't want to limit the man's career. We want to celebrate his career and let him cash in while he still can. That's for sure. So could be. I mean, he's a project player, so that would make sense. Roger Espinosa says Golden Boot winner number 2. Number 3. Number 3, we have our 3rd Golden Boot winner. That's pretty insane, guys. If you look at the history of the league and that many in such a short amount of time, that's nuts. Let's see. Soccer USA says, not sure if y'all saw the LAC dismantle Minnesota United the other day, but that Fufu Krastev is a crafty son of a. Yep, impressed him with every time. We can fit him in the line more consistently. I think we will. Again, age plays a role. Where they need him in the moments plays a role, and Issy steps up really well off the bench. Mendo is giving his props to Bongo, Olvera, and Palacios. David Day, let's go, I guess. Jeremy Gomez likes Fufu over Bogus in the attacking mid. I'm more of a Bogus guy, but I like them both. I like them more than some that start. So, Soccer USA teams have been successful parking the bus against us. RSL and have been successful playing us high and pressing. Charlotte and Tigres. How would you play against LAFC? Depends on my lineup, number one. But I will say this: we really do not like teams that are organized with large center backs and just sit back there and wait for the counter. Like Philly, okay? The way Philly approaches us, where they absorb pressure, kick us on the counter, we hate that. And you can see we're just uncomfortable with that. That's why we always play those guys to a stalemate. They have the game plan against us. They always have had the game plan against us. So if I was going to be writing the book on how to take on LAFC, I would go to Philadelphia. And yes, they lost to us in the final in penalties, guys. But the game plan is right. And so, and also the way Seattle's approached us year in, year out, right? A very similar approach to things. And of course, the other thing I would do is I would isolate Ilie and rough him up. To be honest, they play a hard man next to him and just make sure that his lanes are shut off, that he can't control the tempo of play. And if you do that, LAFC gets into trouble. That's where we see the biggest issues as we lose the physical battle in the midfield. They clog you up and catch you on the counters, which Philly's built for that. Tony, I think you would agree, right? I mean, that seems to be the game plan against us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 100% agree with you.
Yeah. So what do you do to fix it? And we've been talking about that for 6 years now. So
yeah. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Same criticisms that you will always hear. Constructive because we want what's best for our team, of course. But bro, yeah, right. I hate being overwhelmed in the midfield on certain games. It drives me up a wall. So my head is very defensive counterattack has always been my vibe. And so it throws me. It does. Mendo says Maria was beaten in the back. May not be agile, but dude can win tackles. Beasting in the back. I was like, beaten? What? Where? So yeah, caught me there. Dude, Murillo versus 2 years ago, Murillo's a different player. He's been fantastic for us this year when he can play and he's healthy to play. I remember he had a layoff to injury too. We're darn lucky to have him. We are. I mean, all of our center backs. I got to be honest. When everybody's healthy, we are probably the deepest in the league outside of, I think what Philly offers, but depth wise, we're still deeper than them. So, yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky to have Mario on our side, and hope we can keep him for a long time. That's for sure. David Day says, playoffs, third season with the season. This is it. I mean, yes, it's a drama in three major acts here. So we had the spring rise, the mid-season fall, and the unpredictable playoffs third season. So David Day is right. We've created a show here. Where's our documentary on Hulu? I have no idea, but here we go. One thing will be less hard luck than those guys, but yeah, man, you're right. It's the third act. Let's hope our guys are healthy for the third act. And again, a little break's a good thing. Sorry guys about my voice. It's been pretty wild today. Let's see, ma'am. Tony, you want to read that one for me? Can you see it?
Yeah. Miss putting up on X for fan vote. It's up now and closes at kickoff for the next game. So you're 3 stars for this past game that we had. Bam was unable to post it on Twitter, and so it's up. I believe he puts it up, but you can still vote for your 3 stars, and it'll end at the beginning of kickoff next game against Austin, which will be at 5:30 p.m.
There's your deadline.
Pacific time, October 7th.
There we go. And then Bam will definitely give us the calculations to know where we're at here. But it's a good race, guys. And yeah, I'm with David. Finish strong. Soccer USA says, I agree with Mendo. I will add Murillo. He's a force that makes his presence known to opposing teams. This is something not mentioned enough, although he has moments he loses focus. Chicho's goal. Man, that wing was all bad all around. I got to be honest. There was so much disorganized stuff going on. And that's the guy he wants to mark. I mean, he plays them so physical now they're against each other that, it's killing him inside to let that happen. That's for sure. Robert Espinoza says, well, they're making great runs and taking his shots. Just unlucky, which is more than we can say about our number 9. Right. I guess that's not printing a whole lot in the team store right now.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch Special Geo says Bonga takes it with 20 goals. 2 games on the road. Let's see what we do here. Let's see what we do. That means you'd say double hat tricks is what Lunch Special Geo is calling. Could you imagine? Maybe if I was playing, EAFC, we could do this, right? Maybe against Tony, I would do it. Ha ha ha. Bam for sure. Now Bam's like, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we'll get it on a video game. I don't know, real life's a little harder there. Mendo says Alvaro running like he has a V8, but at times just needs a V6 engine. Youth, baby. Dude accelerates for sure. I'm gonna move forward here. Soccer USA, he says, based on the free agents at the end of the season, if you could only keep 3, who would you resign? I'm gonna say story to be written. We're not done yet here. We're not done yet. Let's see who can step up when these games really count. Let's see who's got it left in the tank, right? You got to rely on players. Let's see what they do here and who gets that DP. They haven't, as far as I'm concerned, the only guy that's really earned the dough, there's a few, but for DP status, jury's still out, man. For sure. That's funny. Sorry. Kike should have 20 goals at this point. It would be nice. Maybe he's our next Rossi down the line. We'll see what happens there. I mean, I think that was the thought, right? All right. So we got recap. We got coverage. You got us all taken care of, guys, which of course transition us to what? That's right. The community news. Tony, you have community, sir. Go for it.
So as most of you know, we have watch parties for the next final 2 games. So starting with that, of course, the first one that I know is coming up is LAFC San Diego. Will be at Tap Room as always. Game time is at 5:30. So be there if you're in San Diego. If you are also still looking for other ones, I know TSG is going to be hosting a watch party at Beer Gardens this weekend, 5:30 p.m. I'll post the address as the flyer goes up, as well as BA and Crew will be having their own joint watch party at at what is it called? Drink LA sorry, Rudy's LA. From 5. So October 7th, start times at 4:30. Kickoff is 5:30. All ages are welcome. The address is 5226 Pomona Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90022. So, and I believe the Luckies have posted theirs. Again, remember, this is a quick turnaround, so most of them will be posted as soon as they're possible. But yes, Lucky's, Empire Boys, and Inland Empire will be at Golden Root Brewery at 5:30. Kickoff party starts at 4:30. Kickoff is at 5:30 as always. 2210 East Orange Wood Avenue in Anaheim, California, 92806. And those are your watch parties for the upcoming games.
Busy as always, everybody going everywhere. A lot of joint ones this time, so definitely jump in. All right, so normally we'd be doing the LAFC 2 update, but we've got a really cool youth update right now. So I'm going to hand this over to Araceli with the LAFC youth update because it's big news.
Well, it actually does tie into LAFC 2 because this morning, LAFC 2 signed 16-year-old defender Josh Santiago from the LAFC Academy to an MLS Next Pro contract. The Santa Ana native joined the academy back in 2018, and he's climbed the ranks, playing for the U17s this season. Internationally, he's made 3 appearances for the U16 U.S. Youth National Team, as well as 3 appearances for Mexico's U16 national team. So, as you already know, for LAFC 2, this is pretty much the off season for them. So they're already starting to make roster adjustments, and I have a feeling that this is just the beginning of new signings from the academy.
As expected, right? No, this is what we do. This is what we were confident that our club could do. It's paying off as it should. Everything's going according to plan. Now we gotta get results at LAFC 2, of course, but that was expansion season and things always go funky at that point. So we'll see what happens next season, but we do know that we're getting younger, right, Araceli?
Oh, absolutely. This doesn't come as a surprise at all, to me at least, especially with some of the most recent signings in the last month, I want to say. You can definitely tell that they're positioning themselves. So we may actually see some first team signings fairly soon.
Right. First team signings, a more competitive side next year because of the early signings. They're having way more time together to adjust and be ready. And not going to be a hodgepodge put together. This time, there's the game plan as we always wanted it to be. I have a funny feeling the record won't be anywhere near the same next year. I think Araceli's pretty confident in that and knowing something special going on there, right?
Oh, yes. I am definitely confident that we will see better results next season and a more well-gelled team. That's at least my expectation. But of course, it also depends on what LAFC does. So
Right.
either way, I'm excited to see what comes out of this in the next couple of months.
For sure. For sure. Should be good. Should be interesting. And of course, Araceli always keeps us up to date. So thank you, Araceli. All right. Guess what, guys? The Black and Gold Vinyl Club minute. You're like, wait, did you pick a song this time? I didn't have a lot of time to do it, but I did it. I actually, because we went with the French title, right? Hat trick. Coup du Chapeau. I just love it. Sounds great. I decided I'm going to go find a French band for fun. And so I went 20 years to the past because what else works for me? I went with Air, the band Air, and the album Talkie Walkie of 2004, Surfing on a Rocket. And watching Wonka play, we were definitely surfing on a rocket in the first half. So I think it was a perfect fit and a chill song to kind of explain the way we can ride on that rocket when he's in form. And yeah, I think it's a good fit. The others are now looking for the song, like, I'm not sure I ever heard that song, but there you go. Air, talkie walkie. All right. Let's talk about standings. Magic numbers are the story, and we've got some good ones here. A little interesting the way things have played out the last weekend. Some shocks, some not so shocking moments, uh, but things are definitely playing out and pretty tight. We've got St. Louis, of course, in first place, locked in 56 points. Then comes the Sounders with 32 points. Or sorry, 49 points, right? We're right behind them with 48 points as third seed. Then comes Salt Lake with 46, tied with the Whitecaps with 46. And then comes Dynamo mid pack, but also I guess qualified, right? 45 points. Timbers 43. Do not want to play those guys anytime soon. They seem to be really dialed in. Earthquakes looking real now at 42. And Dallas holding that last playoff spot with 41 points. Of course, who's on the outside looking in? Who's desperate to get in there? None other than Austin FC sitting on that one spot looking on the outside in. But they're 38 points, so they've got to do something special for the last two games to even have a chance at this thing. At the same time, Sporting Kansas City sitting at 38 points. Minnesota United, who we've crushed some dreams, are also sitting at 38 points looking on the outside in. And then Carson sitting at 35. Bye, Carson. I guess this was the end. And then the Rapids, who at 26 points do have a chance to maybe maybe get to the 30-point range if they decide to play spoiler. We'll see what happens there. Now, what do I know? Rapids 100% out. Carson 96%, but dude, they're out. Minnesota 91% chance of missing. Sporting 88% chance of missing. Sorry, Araceli. Austin FC 83% chance of missing. Basically, they got to win out, and they only have a 12% chance of even making the playoffs. And then everyone else, it looks a whole lot nicer. Now you're like, what about us? Where are we going to finish? What does it look like for us? Well, we play Austin, and then we play the Whitecaps. You already know how good the Whitecaps have been this year, especially at home. Now, if we win 2 out of 2, take 2 games on the road, which ain't the easiest thing in the world, you have a 58% chance of finishing second, a 36% chance of finishing third. So at this point, if you win, the best you can do is second, the worst you can do is fourth. It's like a 5% chance. If you win one of 2 games, you split it, you get 3 total points, right? Only 5% chance of second seed, 37% chance of third, 53% chance of fourth, 5% chance of fifth. That's splitting the series, okay? Now, if we tank, no points, stuck as we are, 48 points. Yeah, not good. At that point, you would only have a 2% chance of finishing fourth, a 32% chance of finishing fifth, a 53% chance of finishing sixth. What? Yeah, it's real, guys. 12% chance of finishing seventh, and only a 1% chance of finishing eighth. So we're not going to deal with the whole play-in game. That looks like we got through it. Well, you can finish anywhere from, if you're looking at that record, second or seventh. Talk about how tight this thing is and how much we have to play for. Nothing is settled. Yes, some percentages sound lower than others, but let's be real. Losing the next 2 games is realistic when you're on the road. We've been torched in Austin, even when they haven't been great, even in a cup year, right? And we know we've had bad games in Vancouver, so it ain't written. We've got some work to do, that's for certain. Tony, looking at this, how are you feeling going in with the tight standings and the opponents we have to play?
Again, no easy games. Our next 2 games, they're playing for something. Austin to get into the playoffs, and that's the only one I'm going to worry about as of right now. Once we get into Vancouver, we'll talk about that later. But Austin needs these 3 points to at least stay viable, to not be eliminated, to at least get into the playoff game, to get into the playoffs. So you can't take them lightly. And of course, just because Austin's doing bad doesn't mean they're going to show up. But overall, I feel optimistic that we can lock in second place. Third is most likely where we'll probably it, but I feel like we can get that second spot.
Araceli, what are you thinking? How do you feel about the last 2 games?
As a KC native, I need LAFC to win. I need them to beat Austin.
Yeah, no, I agree. We have spoiler roles to play here. Finish them off. Austin only has themselves to blame after tanking that delay game against Carson, because if they had won that game, they would be tied with Dallas at this point. So they only have themselves to blame to be where they're at, and we need to do our jobs. Seems pretty straightforward. All right, so let's move this forward. Let's talk about LAFC and Austin. We have a tough history playing there. We always have had a tough history playing there. It's never been easy for us. We've had some rough games with them. Are they in a little trouble? Yes. Are they looking great in form? No. They did make a statement win last game, right, Tony? But overall, it's been a lot of missed opportunities. And I'll give you the floor on this, man.
Yeah, so the run of form at the moment is they did win against DC, which DC is not the greatest team at the moment. They've also banned one of their supporter groups for an incident, but it's, again, more issues on that one coming forward. But then they've lost to Colorado 1-0, tied against Carson 3-3, which is the one you just talked about. New York Red Bulls 1-1, and lost against Portland 2-1.
I mean, looking at the opponents, it kind of makes sense too why their record is the way it is, because some of these teams are better than them naturally. Now, we haven't got the most stellar lineup either. Yes, we won 5-1 last game, but before that, we all know the struggle we were in. There's no question that this is a rehab moment. I will say this going into it, there are a lot of players that are on yellow card accumulation warning, and if they get another one, we could miss them for the playoff game. So if you're going to get one, guys, hint, get the yellow against Austin. So we can Ilya's one of them. He needs another yellow. If he gets a yellow on the last day of the season, we can miss him first game of the playoffs. So let's not mess with that.
Wish it restarted.
It should, but it doesn't. I will say that shove that he gave late in the game this past match, I can't help but feel like he was really hoping for a card to get yanked.
Let's be honest, he was.
He totally was. But there's others. I think Palacios is another one. I think he's got some yellow card stuff going on. So Bam will cover you more in depth on that as we get past this next game going into the last. It becomes a real concern. But here we are. Now, in terms of production, they've got 46. We've got 49 in terms of goals. Their goal difference is -4 because their defense is wild, guys. Okay. We've let 36 goals in this year. And I know we've complained at times. They let in 50. 50. 50 goals in a season, and you still got 2 games to play. Dude, if there was ever a game for our players to be like, pour it on, this would be another lovely game for that. What does that mean, Tony? What do you think they're going to approach knowing that their defense is that bad?
What everyone always approaches with us. The freaking
Park it, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Park that bus. Yeah, they're gonna park it on us. I expect it. If they don't, they play us head to head on this, man, we're gonna have an entertaining night.
If they could, they would probably play a 9 defender, 1 forward setup.
Just survive. And the thing is, they can't though. That's the other funny part. Because if they do that, we could just settle out with them and look for that 1-0 and do our thing. We don't play that way anyway. But they won't play that way because they have to win this game. They have to win. They don't have a choice. They got to get 3 points against us. Good luck with that. Now, do they have players more than capable of it? Yeah, they do. Of course, they have Sebastian Drusi. He's got 11 goals in 26 games. They've got Zardes, who's, let's be honest, had an off year with only 6 goals on the year. Gallagher with 5. Finley with 5. Rigoni with 5. They kind of spread about with the goals. Well, Bruin's got a couple as well, 3 goals, I think. Gallagher, in terms of assists, Gallagher, Pereira, they're your top guys. One's got 8, one's got 7. Rigoni right after him. Again, they produce goals. It's the defense that's wild. Now, in that 3-0 thrashing of DC United, They actually did go out with a 4-3-3. They went out to play, which is honestly is their normal approach. Okay, it looks a lot like us, but not the same quality. And they just go for it. I mean, that is what they do. In that case, Bruin, Drusi, and Hedges put them away, and 2 of those goals were in the first 21st minute. So, yeah, in that case, they had Stuver in goal, Cascante and Vaisanen as their center backs, Gallagher and Wolf as their outside backs, with Drusi, Valencia, and Ring in the mid. Interesting seeing ring to the side like that, but there it is. Rigoni, Bruin, and Filling were your top attackers. Yeah, 4-3-3 guys. Who came in later? Well, Zardes, of course, Lima, Memo Rodriguez, Daniel Pereira, one of their top assist guys, and Matt Hedges, who did actually, get a goal. So that is their approach. Now, what about that game they lost to Colorado? Who the heck loses to Colorado? But they did lose to Colorado. One more game to regret, right? They approached with the 4-3-3. It was probably the most inept approach I've seen in a game in a long time. They just weren't about it that game. It was rough. In that game was Stuver in goal, Cascante, Vaisanen as the back line, Lima and Gallagher as your backs, Pereira, Wolf, and Valencia. It's a little different in the midfield. Rigoni, Ring, and Finley. Who came in later? Well, Foderi, Rodriguez, Bruin, your normal faces that you'd want to see weren't available, right? Their biggest impact player, and it showed. So those are really ones to look at, the ones that stand out the most, because you had the good and you had the bad, and of course the game against the Galaxy was just nonsense. Let's be real. In the middle of the night kind of play. I think that game was also 4-3-3. Rigoni up top, Finley, Ring up top. I know. Valencia, Drusi, Pereira holding it down in midfield. Very different look. Cascante, Vaisanen, Gallagher, Lima in the back, and Stuber. So shifting offensive pieces of what they were doing to get what they got, and they let that game get away from them at the end of the day. So again, defense lets them down. They allow goals. You should expect that when we play this, if we play our game. So the question is, with 2 games to go, a lot to play for, home field advantage on the line. Clearly, this is not a game where we're just going to cycle the lineup and go, well, wherever we finish, we finish. I can't see us doing that. So I'm going to go to you, Araceli. Let's go offense first, since we've been talking so much about offense. Who do you start? Who's your top 3?
For my top 3, I'm so tempted to say Vela, Bouanga, and Oliveira again, but considering we have Vancouver next, would it be crazy to include Ordaz in this?
Would not, and we should have mentioned him because he did feature really well in the last game, even though he didn't get, the goal that he wanted. He featured well, and I saw a lot from him that made me happy with what he can do. Yeah, right.
So I guess for my top 3, then I'd go with Vela, Oliveira, Ordaz, and bring Bouanga in as a sub.
Ooh, Tony, your top 3?
It's just gonna be a recycled lineup, literally just Bouanga, Oliveira, and Vela. Just because it's a must win, and the thing is there's a big break between this game and Vancouver, so you can kind of go full force and have a nice little break before Vancouver starts, before we fly out to Vancouver.
Yeah, so you can let it rip with anybody pretty much at this point and let them rest later. Makes sense. So I'll shift this to you. I'm with you. I think we're going to go best lineup for the top line. Midfield, though, I think is another story. Costa not 100%, sat this one out, didn't even dress this thing. I can't help but think that he'll be deactivated for this one as well, for safety's sake. They're not going to risk him at this point. Why? Especially with the other guys are playing, but you have Krostev to work with. You have Tielemans to work with. You have Bogus doing what Bogus does. And Ilie, of course, is going to do his standard play, and I can't see him not being in the lineup. So, Tony, who are your 3 in the midfield?
Ilie, Bogus, and
He's not sure.
cross stuff.
I like it. I'm with you on this one, dude. I would really like to see a Bogus cross dev lineup with Ilya anchoring those guys. See what they can do. This is a good game to do that, and if things are looking a little funky, you've got Tillman to go into this thing, right? I mean, we have the lineup. I'm with you on that. I think we need to go at these guys, and those dudes are hungry. And we know what Bogus can do when the rest of the team is not doing it on the road. He still puts in the work. So I'm with you. Araceli, your thoughts on the midfield? Who are you going with your three?
I'd say make that 3 right there, because that sounds good to me. Ilya, Bogusz, and Krestov, and bring in Tillman.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. All right, let's go get center backs, and I'll start it, and then have you guys run off on this. Chiellini, I don't see him going against Vancouver because of the turf situation. I think he's got enough time to play 60 minutes in him. I'm thinking that they go right back to it, but in this case, same. I think it's gonna be the same. Really, I don't think Long starts. I think it's Murillo and Chiellini get the job done, but Long comes in pretty early for Chiellini. Even if it's the 60s are standard, but yeah, I definitely would see that happening. Outside backs, I think back to normal. Palencia, Hollingshead, or Hollingshead and
Palencia.
I said it the wrong way. Hollingshead and Palencia goes for it again, and Palacios, gets the rest finally. I'm
Mhm.
thinking that might be what we're looking at. I'll go to you, Araceli. Who's your backline?
No, I definitely agree with you. I do see another Chiellini Murillo pairing, just simply for the fact of Vancouver and the turf situation. I do see Hollingshead, and I'll go with Palacios for this one.
Go traditional. There you go. And that goes to you, Tony. What do you think?
For right backs,
Right backs and center backs.
Chiellini 45. Long comes in at the halftime.
Dig it. Okay.
Mori, of course. I say start Palencia and Palacios. Sorry, mixed them up as well. Palacios and Hollingshead. I'd rather put ourselves in a better position to win when we go to Vancouver than kind of drop points if we have, and instead of dropping points and then having to play catch up in the final on
The playoff focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to be ballers, that might be your best bet. So there we go. There is the potential plan. So we'll throw back to you guys. Of course, Max in goal. I don't think there's a debate. Max is in goal no matter what happened in the last game. He's going back in because the only way you make him better is if you play him. It's that simple, and we know who he is and what he does. So yeah, back into it. All right. So you've heard our lineups. Now we need to hear from you guys. Let's get some comments going here. Throw it out there, guys. Have fun with this thing. Man, some guys, I love it. All right. Soccer USA, is Danny Boanga going to Home Depot considered community news? I mean, he was at Home Depot, and I think Murillo was at a Costco. So LAFC in the wild, people. Check that out. Let's be honest, look around, see the hats. LAFC is always in the wild these days. Daniel Angel, thanks for going through the numbers. I was gonna ask, but you beat me to it. Yeah, you didn't want to leave those out. I love my magic numbers. Let's see. Daniel Angel, win both our games. Whatever happens, happens. I think that's the best approach. Roberto Espinosa says, I think we can beat both Austin and the Caps. We're capable of it. We got to perform. Danielle says, do you think St. Louis will rotate versus Sounders on decision day or use it to get hot before the playoffs? Honestly, there's such a long break for them before they finally do play again. I really don't think you can catch a hot hand vibe with that break. I don't, because we have to get it through a first round playing game. I would think if I'm St. Louis, I rest tired legs, give the kids a run out. It doesn't really matter. Your top seed, you're not, the supporter shield, which, let's be honest, I hurt a little bit seeing their team lift it this week. They're gonna rest. I think they're not too thrilled about losing a game, but at the same time, you got to keep your guys Safe. Soccer USA says, I want St. Louis first round. Well, if you do that, you have to do the play-in. So, heck no. Can you imagine going to the play-in and tanking guys at this point? I don't want that. I don't wish that on us. Heck no. That's horrible. Robert Espinoza, I don't want to be negative, but these playoffs are going to be brutal. These playoffs are going to be more of a battle of attrition and who has the tired legs versus who has the healthy legs. And whoever the walking wounded with the most walking wounded can play is going to win this thing. Not the best team, not the most skilled team, not the team that had the best year so far, unless they're completely healthy. It's going to be the ones that get away with not having a major injury, play it safe, and grind to the end. Takes a lot out of accomplishments over the year. It does. It does. Soccer USA would be nice to finish off breakfast tacos. Right. Dude, I mean, think about a good year that is. You finished off the Galaxy because they've never been the same since the last one we took them out on. And then Austin gets to watch as well. Yeah, that ain't so bad. We know we know how the fan bases are, so yes, that'll be fun. Roger Sinoza says, if we make a Demos Cup, how many games would LAFC have played? My head hurts too much to count on that one. We'll cover it when we get to the preview, for sure. Soccer US, I just left it there. Soccer USA says Ted Uncle up for referee of the year, by the way. He's done a job for somebody, I guess. I'll leave it at that. Jeremy Gomez, Austin is always tough, especially in Austin, but the bright side, weather is going to be cooler in Austin than LA. Yes, that is true. Soccer USA, 5 of his artists' 6 goals were by accident. His career has kind of been an accident at times, guys. I mean, he did have some fire years, like doing really good, but there's a lot of those crazy goals that he puts in. That's for sure. Beating Austin on Saturday could end Josh Wolf's tenure as Austin head coach. Speaking of managers, rumor has it Landon Donovan could be candidate for FC Scum San Diego. Thoughts? Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be? His team is going away. How convenient. And he moves in. It would make the fan base down there very happy. I got to be honest. I really do think they would love that idea. So why wouldn't they? Daniel on Hale, do we expect half out Giorgio? Half or 60. Right, Tony? Half or 60. I think makes sense.
Yeah, 60. If you full 60, the most is 60, least is a full half.
Ooh, I like this one from Soccer USA. Talking future footy. My dream of having Bogus, Krastev, and Duenas midfield one day. I mean, it could happen, and Duenas, we haven't seen him enough, have we? But I think it's just because there's a logjam at midfield. It just is. Whatever happened to Mr. Torres? Oh, yeah. He says going to need Duenas to eat some hamburgers this offseason. They all got to grow. That's for sure. That's for sure. Going on Hill, I think there's 2 weeks between first and second round playoffs. There will be that chance because of another international break. You are correct. Still, what a long year. I mean, think about us. We ended December last year, and we were early entry to get into CONCACAF. So you had maybe a month and a half off for these guys before they had to focus on everything and getting ready for that. And this is tough. Soccer USA, thoughts on the East Coast teams? All right, I'll make a bold prediction. I've been telling a lot of people this. I think Cincinnati is going to tank at one point. They're not going to do this, and I think Philadelphia is going to find themselves. I do. Outside of that, I mean, Columbus at times looks a little dangerous, especially our boy Rossi doing his thing. Actually, they have a lot of good offense with that team. But I can't help but feel that Philadelphia plays as themselves and Nashville plays as themselves. I'm more on the Philly side on this. I just they still look it, and Cincinnati's young. Tony, your thoughts?
I think the dark horse in the whole East is probably going to be Nashville, just because of their defensive prowess. And I'm with you with Philly, and I think it'll be Philly Cincinnati. Trying to see like wherever I want to see like the project. I think it's gonna be Philly, Cincinnati in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Cincinnati loses at a heartbreak just because it's their first time there.
There you go. There you go. So, yeah, the East is tough, guys. I mean, we're tight, right? But the East has some high-powered, high-performing teams this year. I expect upsets because there's too many good offensive players in this, and too many teams that are good at shutting games down to do something. So, and I'm not looking at you, Chicago. Sorry, you had fun on the day, but I'm not looking at you. Soccer USA asks, "Who's the wooden spoon winner?" That's Colorado by Ooh, wait, where's Toronto at, guys?
Toronto has
Toronto.
Dang,
Toronto has
yeah.
22 points right now, while Colorado has 26.
Dang, it is Toronto then, guys. Okay, so Insigne is the bomb of the century. Is that what we're saying?
Mhm.
Is that what we're going with?
At the moment in time, yeah.
Yeah. So there it is. I really thought Colorado would be that team, but it's wild, man. High budget Toronto FC. I think they're paid like the highest, either 1 or 2 in the league in terms of pay. You can't buy everything. Where Colorado's like, yeah, the lowest paid. Some wild stuff. So yeah, congratulations, Toronto, on the wooden spoon. I only feel sorry for Latif because he's stuck out there with that nonsense, but it's a nice place to live. So you get that at least. Yes, Soccer USA, Toronto had the highest payroll. Isn't that fun? Well, and there's another team with high payroll that won't be in the playoffs either. So we won't mention them because we mention them too often. So there you go. All right. So there it is, guys. Thank you for the comments. Y'all rock. You all do it right. All right. That brings us to that moment. That's right. We are closing this bad boy out, getting a rest, getting recharged for the weekend. First and foremost, thank you, LAFC faithful. You're the reason why we do what we do. Keep saying hi to us. Don't hold back, even when Tony's going crazy on the capo stand. Give him a wave to throw him off for fun. From a distance, he'll probably still see you. He sees everything up there. Or at the tailgate. It might be nicer for Tony if you did that. So, yeah, definitely say hi. Do not hesitate. We enjoy it, guys. All right, final thoughts. I'm going to go to you, Araceli, first. Your final thoughts of the day.
My final thoughts are simple. I wish everyone a fun and safe weekend, whether you're traveling to Austin for the game or going to a watch party or just simply enjoying any Halloween activities this weekend. As for me, I will actually be taking a little bit of a break from the pod for the next, I want to say maybe 2 weeks. We'll start there and see how it goes. Because as I mentioned at the top of the show, I am dead smack in the middle of MLS Next Pro playoffs. So I will be traveling fairly soon here. I'm definitely excited to hear how LAFC performs on the road and hopefully join you guys just before playoffs kick off for MLS.
Yeah, I mean, playoff preview time. So our next 2 pods, definitely one will be decision day, right? As we lead up into the last game of the season. And then we'll definitely breathe like the rest of you guys, reset, recharge, and get ready for the playoff preview. So that's the plan, guys. So we'll be back next week. That's for certain. Are we going to hurry it? That's not for certain. We'll wait this one out. Thursdays are our days. So look for that. Look for that. Look for that. All right. Tony, final thoughts.
Final thoughts is be careful out there. Drink responsibly. Responsible. Responsibility. Yeah, words. I'm just tired. I'm sorry. Have fun at the watch parties. Make sure to drink a lot of water. It's going to be a hot couple days. Even though we're in fall, it should be going closer to winter. We are getting a couple of hot days, so make sure you're hydrated as well. Also, of course, with Bam not being here, always bringing up it's okay not to be okay. Mental health is a big important issue that we push in this pod. Is have conversation with friends, make sure they're okay, even if you haven't talked to them in a while. Just because they seem okay doesn't mean they're always okay. So just hang out, have fun. So remember, it's okay to be okay. And on top of that, let's get these 3 points, so it's easier for our playoff chances to host 2 home games instead of 1 in this 3 playoff first round. And yeah, that's about it.
There we go. Thank you, sir, for saying that. Yeah, definitely look out for each other. My final thoughts will be this. Bam, get well soon, man. I know he's had a rough day here, so he'll be back. He'll be back to normal. Love you, man. And then, of course, to Ken, thank you for your service to the club. Thank you forever and ever. I will always feel indebted to you as a supporter, as a friend, as fellow LAFC faithful for all that you do for the community and still do for the community. You earned it, man. You earned this. So thank you, dude. Beyond that, again, thanks to the rest of you guys doing what you do. We will see you soon. We'll see you at the watch party, and we'll definitely see you in the playoffs. So, yes, the final word. Araceli.
Stay golden.
Tony.
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
And for me, to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.